Okay, so we are going over the Unit 1-2 group quiz, which is basically a practice test. If you know how to do all the problems on here, you should be able to do every problem on the test. So if you study and go through each of these problems and practice them, you will be fine. Okay? So, absolute values. How many answers should you have when you have an absolute value? 2. So remember that whatever the absolute value is, this answer right here is going to be a positive or a negative, because inside it can be negative and come out and be positive, or inside it can be positive and come out and be positive. So I'm going to set up my two equations. You can only do this once your absolute value is by itself, but in this problem the absolute value is already by itself. So we set up the two equations, and then all you're doing is solving for x. So I'm subtracting 5 to both sides. I have negative 2x equals 4. Divide by negative 2 to both sides, and x equals negative 2. So over here I'm putting x equals negative 2, but I still need to find the other answer. So here, what do I do?
So the same thing, subtract by 5.
So we have negative 2x equals negative 14. Divide by negative 2 to both sides, and x equals what? 7. Okay, questions on 1? Number 2, is the absolute value by itself?
No.
So what do I need to do first?
Subtract the 3.
Good, subtract the 3, because we want to take care of addition and subtraction before our multiplication and division. So we subtract 3 first to both sides. I have 5 absolute value of x minus 2 equals 15. From there, what do I do?
Divide by 5.
Divide by 5 to both sides. And so I have the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 3. Now you set your two equations. X minus 2 equals 3. And my other equation is x minus 2 equals negative 3. Here I add 2 to both sides. X equals 5. Here I add 2 to both sides. And I have x equals negative 1. Right. It won't always work that way. So you want absolute value by itself, then set your two equations. Okay, number 3. On this one, notice, if you ever have an absolute value, when you pull it out, will it become a negative? No, because a positive cannot equal a negative. Therefore, this answer is no solution. So be careful. So all we're saying is this number has to be a positive, because inside it can be a negative, but when it comes out, it will always be positive. All right, number 4. It says solve and graph. Absolute value is by itself. What type of problem is this? Is this an and or an or problem? Or. Okay, so that means when I set my answer out, it's going to be two separate answers. So we're going to write our problems. We have 2x minus 5 is greater than 7. And 2x minus 5 is less than negative 7. First thing I do is add 5 to both sides. 2x is greater than 12. Divide by 2, and x is greater than 6. So over here I have x is greater than 6. Or, here we add 5 to both sides. 2x is less than negative 2. Divide by 2, and x is less than negative 1. And I didn't say it, but remember that when you're doing inequalities, when you do the negative number, we flip the sign, right? When else do we flip the sign?
If you're dividing by negative.
If you divide or multiply by a negative. Okay, so on the graph, negative 1 is on the left side, 6 is on the right. At negative 1, is it open or closed?
Well, open.
Open, because it doesn't have the equal sign. And is it going to the left or the right?
Left.
To the left. Okay. And at 6, open or closed?
Open.
Open, and it's going to the right. And again, why is it open? There's no equal sign underneath. So that means it's any number that's less than negative 1, but it's not equal to negative 1. All right, number 5. Absolute value is by itself. Is this an and or an or problem? And, so this means when I have my final answer, it's going to be written as a single statement, a single answer, not two answers, unlike how number 4 was written. So we're setting up our two problems. We have 2x plus 3 is less than 19, and then the other side will be 2x plus 3 is perfect. We subtract 3 to both sides. I have 2x is less than 16, divide by 2, and we get x is less than 8. Over here, we subtract 3 to both sides. 2x is greater than negative 22, divide by 2, and x is greater than negative 11. So on our graph here, we have negative 11, and we have a positive 8. At negative 11, it's open or closed?
Open.
Open going to the right. At 8, it's
Open.
open going to the left. And the ands, they have to be the overlapping part is where we fill in. And how do I write this answer?
Negative 11 is greater than.
Mm-mm. Good. So you keep your and sign, our less than sign, when the absolute value is by itself. That goes in both those spots, and you do smallest number to greatest number. And that is your answer. Questions? Okay. Number 6, graphing. In order to graph, what's the best thing or the easiest thing I think to do? Get y by itself. Put it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides. When I do that, I have a y. Am I going to flip this sign?
No.
No. When do I flip it?
Negative only.
Good. When you multiply or divide by a negative. Okay, so I'm writing this in y equals mx plus b form. When you're graphing, you need two things. We need our m, which is our slope, and our b, which is our y-intercept. What is my slope on this problem? Good. Negative 3 over 1. And what is my y-intercept? Negative 3. So when I go to graph this, where am I going to go first? Good. Negative 3 on your y-axis, okay? So we go down 1, 2, 3, and make a point. From there, my slope is what? Down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. Or I could have gone positive 3 and left 1. Is this going to be a solid or dotted line?
Solid.
How do you know it's solid?
Is it a
Good. It has the line underneath, the equal sign underneath. Okay? And greater than. Which way will I shade for greater than? Up. Yes. Questions there? Okay, number 7. Okay, whenever you have y and x in a problem, it's going to be a slanted line. You have to have two pieces of information, your m and your b, your y-intercept. So on this first one, m equals, what is my slope here?
negative 1 over 1.
Good, negative 1 over 1. What is my b value? What's being added at the end?
Plus 0.
Good, nothing. Good, 0. Okay, and you can add plus 0 if you want to. So that means my starting point is going to be where?
0.
0. So we make a point right there at 0. From there, we go where?
Down 1.
Down 1,
Over 1.
right 1. Or up 1, left 1 would have also worked. Is this a solid or dotted line?
Solid.
Very good. So we're going to draw our solid line because it has the equal sign underneath. And shading. Am I going to shade up or down? Up. Okay. Then my other line. I have x is less than or equal to 3. Notice this does not have an x and a y. So this is going to be a straight line. So we go to x equals 3. We go right 1, 2, 3. And is this going to be a line that's going horizontal or vertical? Vertical, okay, because it's just going through that point. Is it a solid or dotted line? Solid line through here. And which way am I going to shade on this one? Good, to the left. Do we see where they overlap? They overlap in this triangle here, and so we just kind of fill that in a little darker. And remember, on your test, if it's a multiple choice answer, the only part that will be on your answer is that part. Okay? Questions? Can you just shade that part? Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to number 8. Real quick, do you guys want to see the answers first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to check these, I'll give you just a few seconds. I'm going to move this up now. And we're still going to go through all these here.
And this is all I need.
All right, and then there's number 12.
When you're done, you're doing the first problem.
I'm gonna do this right now though. There it is. All right, so number 8, we have 2 inequalities to graph. So when we're graphing, what should I do first? Very good, get y by itself. So I'm gonna take this equation, x plus 2y is less than 2, and we are gonna get y by itself. So I subtract x, 2y is less than negative x plus 2, and then we divide everything by 2. So I get y is less than, I'm going to pull the fraction out in front for my slope, so that would be negative 1/2 x plus 1. So the 2 things I need is my m and my b. So what is my m on this? Very good, negative 1/2. And what is b? 1. So to graph, we go where? Up 1, and from there, where will I go? Down 1, right 2. Or up 1 and left 2. Solid or dotted line? Dotted, and why is it dotted? There's no equal sign, very good. And this says less than, so which way will I shade? Down. Okay. Next equation, again, I want to get y by itself, so I have 3x plus y is less than 3. What will I do? Good. Subtract 3x to both sides. Y is less than negative 3x plus 3. I always need my m value and my b value. What is my m value? Good, negative 3 over 1. And what is my b value? 3. Where do I go first in this graph? Up 3 on the y-axis. So we go 1, 2, 3, make a point. From there, we would go down 3 and right 1. Is that correct? Okay, or I could have gone up 1, 2, 3, and left 1. Okay, is this a solid or dotted line?
Dotted.
Good. And again, it's dotted because?
That's because there's no line in it.
Very good. And this says less than, so where am I going to shade?
To the left or down.
Very good. And then we can see that it's overlapping here in this area. Okay, questions?
You know how to remember that.
All right. Number 9. How do I determine if a given point is in a solution to the system of equations? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let's go back.
Is it like not always going to make a triangle?
No, it won't always make a triangle. Because this one's not really a triangle. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so it doesn't have to make it. All right. So how do we check to see if a point is a system, an answer, a solution? Plug it in. Remember, you always go in alphabetical order, x and y. So I'm going to plug it into the first line. 2 times negative 2 plus 0, and we're checking to see, does it equal negative 4? 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, and negative 4 plus 0 does equal negative 4. So the first one checks out. Then we plug it into the second one. So I have 3 times negative 2 plus 2 times 0 equals negative 5. What is 3 times negative 2?
3 times negative 2 is negative 6.
Good. And negative 6 plus 0 does not equal negative 5. So the answer is
No solution.
no solution, or no, or false, or whatever you wrote. This is kind of tricky, though, because some people are like, oh, 3 and negative 2 make 5, because you're thinking of adding. But that is multiplying, right? Okay. 10 says find the value of x in the system. So if I want to find x, that means I want to get rid of what? The y's. What would be the easiest thing to do? Multiply by
Negative.
a negative in order to make y positive, right? So if we multiply through by a negative 1, which really is just changing all of the signs, we get negative x plus y equals negative 8. Okay? We're finding the x's. We were going to get rid of the y. See? Y's
Yeah.
gone. 3x minus x is
2x.
2x equals
4.
4. Divide by 2 to both sides, and x equals
2.
2. We did not need to find y, so I get to stop there. Exactly. All right, number 11. Okay, 27 binders were sold for $56.50. You have large binders and small binders. Okay, so I'm going to say that large binders equals X and small binders equals Y. Okay, let's do our money equation. So we have large binders for $2.50, small binders for $1.95, and it says that there is $56.50. The only thing that doesn't have a money sign with it is that 27. So, what is my money equation? Here, we'll do that. Plus 195y equals 56.50, and my other equation is going to be what?
X plus y equals 27.
Good. Okay, it says how many of each. So that means we need to know both of the answers. Okay, do you guys want to get rid of the decimals first?
Yeah.
So when we get rid of decimals, that means we are going to multiply this by what? 100. Okay, because we have that 95 where you have those two decimals. The zeros don't matter as much. Okay, so when I do that now, I have 250x plus 195y equals 5,650. Okay, so next, we need to get rid of our x's or y's. Let's go ahead and multiply by negative 195. And I will get rid of my y's. If you want to get rid of your x's, that will also work. Okay, so when I multiply through here, I get negative 195x minus 195y equals negative, and 195 times 27 is
5,265.
5,265 is correct. Those cancel. 250 minus 195 is
55x.
equals, and when you subtract,
385.
we get 385.
X equals 7.
Very good.
That's a large binder.
Okay, divide by 55 and you get x equals 7. Okay, that is your large. So the easiest one to plug it into is,
X plus y.
Right.
equals 27.
so 7 plus y equals 27,
Y equals 20.
and y equals 20 is correct. So I'll put that as 7 and 20. Questions there? Okay, number 12. Remember, we're going to end up needing to have two equations that just have two of the same variables. When we look at these, which variable looks the easiest to get rid of?
The z.
The z's, right?
The bottom and then the bottom in the middle.
Okay, so step one, I'm going to add these two together, okay?
That's what I did.
Should we write them out, or can we just add them and write our step one? Okay, you want me to write them first, or does it matter? Can we just add them down? Okay, so x plus x is,
2x.
y plus y is,
Y. 2y.
the z's cancel, and it equals
6.
6. Okay, step two. Lorenzo and Zach, you guys are going to do perfect on this test? I hope so. They're, you're talking about how you solve these and you're amazing and all that? Yeah? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so we are adding the first one and the last one. Instead of writing it down, can I just add them here again? Yeah? 2x and x is how much?
3x.
3x. Y and y is
2y.
2y, and z and negative z cancel out, and 7 plus 3 is
10.
10. Okay, so now we have our two equations.
Now
Which-
you have to divide multiply the bottom by -1.
okay, here we go.
Or something like that.
If we multiply this one by -1, we're going to write our two equations now.
2x plus 2y.
Okay. So first one, 2x plus 2y equals 6. I just rewrote the first one. This one, I'm multiplying by -1, and we get
-3x minus -2y equals -10.
negative 3x minus 2y equals negative 10.
And then
Okay, these cancel. We get negative x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 1 to both sides, and x equals positive 4. Okay, once you have that answer, we are now going to plug it into one of these equations that just has x and y. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just plug it into this first one. So my step 4 is that I'm taking the 2x plus 2y equals 6, and I'm plugging 4 in for x.
8.
Okay, hold on just a second. So 2 times 4 plus 2y equals 6.
8 plus 2y equals 6. And then you subtract the 8 from the 6 and you get negative 2. So 2y equals negative 2. And you divide by 2, you get y equals negative 1.
That is correct.
And then you should plug in the x and the y to x plus y plus z equals 3.
Good. Okay, so my last step is I'm going to take the x and the y value and plug it into, it doesn't matter which one, but this one looks easiest to me, the middle one. So we have step 5, I'm taking x plus y plus z equals 3. So we have 4 minus 1 plus z equals 3. 4 minus 1 is 3, and 3 plus z equals 3. Subtract 3 to both sides, and z equals 0. So my answer is 4, negative 1, 0. Okay, check these next answers here. I don't have any change for you. Do you want me to bring you any lunch or anything today? For the meeting?
Oh no, I'm on a very
Oh, that's right.
I'm on a very restricted diet now.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Is that all that I have for you?
That's okay.
Oh, thank
I thought
you.
you dressed me.
She like your ultimate best friend?
Say that again. Is she my best friend? Okay.
I need to move it up. Confusing. What? Do report.
Okay. 13 is right there. X is greater than negative 1, or x is less than negative 8. And then on the last one, number 16, x is 1, y is 2, and z is 4.
You did all your work on me.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Number 13. What do we need to do first? Good. You want the absolute value by itself, so we divide by negative 3. What happens whenever we multiply or divide by a negative? Good. So this becomes greater than 7. You cannot decide if it's an and or problem until your absolute value is by itself. So now that it's by itself, what kind of problem is this? Or. Okay, so we're going to have two separate answers. So we're going to set this up. We have 2x plus 9 is greater than 7. And 2x plus 9 is what? Thank you. Less than negative 7 is correct. We subtract 9 to both sides. 2x is greater than negative 2. Divide by 2 and we get x is greater than negative 1. Or we subtract 9 over here to both sides. 2x is less than negative 16. Divide by 2 by both sides and we get x is less than negative 8. How come I didn't flip those signs when I was dividing? I wasn't dividing by a negative. I was dividing by a 2. If a negative is on top, that's okay. You just can't have, you only flip when you're dividing by a negative, right? Okay. Number 14. Okay, this is already with y by itself. So what two things do I need when I'm graphing this? M and B. What is my M value? 2 over 1. And what is my B value? Negative 3. Where do I go first? Down 3. Make a point. From there, where do I go? Up 2, right 1. Or I could have gone down to left 1. Is this a solid or dotted line? And why is it solid?
Because it has a line underneath it.
Very good. Okay, so there's my line. Am I going to go up or down? Or graph up or down? Up for greater. Okay. Next one. This does not have an X and Y, so this is going to be a straight line. I'm going to go where? Left 1, and is it going to be horizontal or vertical? Vertical. Solid or dotted? Solid. Shade to the right or the left? To the right, because greater is right.
It's some funny.
Thank you. Okay. I know. Okay, and again, this does not have an X and a Y, just a Y. So where am I going to go? Up 3. Is this going to be horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. Very good. Solid or dotted?
Dotted.
Solid. Because it has the equal sign. And will I shade up or down? Down, because less than is down. And then we see that it's overlapping in the center between these 3 lines. Questions? All right, 15. What am I going to do? Very good. Get rid of the fraction. How can I get rid of the fraction? Very good. Multiply everything in the problem by 3. So I write 3 next to every single term. When I do that, I get 2x plus 9y equals negative 102. What am I going to multiply the bottom equation by? 2 to everything to get rid of my fractions. When I do that, I have 2x minus 2, nope, not minus 2y, minus 1y or minus y equals negative 2. What do I do now? Get rid of the x's. What will I do to get rid of the x's?
Negative 1.
Very good. And when I multiply this by negative 1, I go negative, positive, positive. These cancel. That's right. 10y equals what?
100. Negative 100.
Don't forget the negative because that will mess everything up, and that's what some of you did wrong on your quizzes. Okay.
Y equals negative 10.
Very good. Y equals negative 10.
I
We-
put the words right out.
We take it, plug it
the
in.
question.
What?
Put it in the negative 2 plus negative 10 equals 6. I know, it sounds like I had a question.
Okay, so then we add 10 to both sides. Am I doing this right? Negative 2x equals 12? Oh, good. Divide by negative 2 to both sides, and you get x equals negative 6. So I write that as negative 6 comma negative 10. All right, and last, we need to write 3 equations and then solve them. Okay. Mrs. Alto went to Starbucks this morning to buy her friends breakfast. Okay, one friend ordered. We have 5 donuts, 2 muffins, and a coffee. So real quick, I'm going to put donuts are, we'll just go through here. Donuts are X, muffins are Y, and coffee is Z. So when I write that first equation, what's it going to be? Equals 13. Okay, next one. The second friend ordered 3 donuts, which is X, 1 muffin, which is Y, and a coffee, which is Z, and paid $9. So we write that as 3x plus 1y or y plus z equals 9.
The
The-
last one is x plus 2y plus z equals 9.
Okay, so we have x, y for muffins, z for coffee, and that one was also $9. So we have x plus y plus z equals 9. Okay, so is there 2 y's?
Yeah.
Thank you. You're right. Thank you. Okay, so what's the easiest variable to get rid of, do you think? Z's. Okay, so if we add these 2 together, what will I need to do? Good. Multiply by negative 1 to the second equation. So my first step, I'm going to write 5x plus 2y plus z equals 13. And then we have negative 3x minus y minus z equals negative 9. We add down, we get 2x plus y, z's cancel, equals 4. Yes? Second step. I'm going to do the first one and the last one, but I'm going to multiply the last one also by a -1. So I'm going to rewrite 5x plus 2y plus z equals 13. And then when I multiply this last one by -1, I get -x minus 2y minus z equals 9. So when I go through this, I get 4x, the y's cancel, the z's cancel, equals, what does it equal? 24, right? No, what is wrong with me? Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right, and then we divide by 4 to both sides, and what happens? X equals 1. Well, now that we have an x answer, I can just take this x value and plug it in right there. Okay, so step 3, we have 2 times 1 plus y equals 4. 2 plus y equals 4. Subtract 2, and y equals 2. And then last, we would take all these answers and plug them into an equation, which let's go ahead and just plug them into this equation. Is that okay? So step 4, I have x plus 2y plus z equals 9. So that means I have 1 plus 2 times 2 plus z equals 9. 1 plus 4 plus z equals 9. 5 plus z equals 9, which means z equals 4. So my answer is 1, 2, 4.